Welcome back to Horrifically Well Read, Bled, and Said. Today we are so excited to welcome author of the upcoming book Morsel, Carter Keane. Welcome to the show.
Hello. I'm super duper happy to be here.
Yes, I absolutely. We had gotten your arc on NetGalley, and I was reading it and just messaged you, and I was like, okay, I'm like obsessed instantly. And then I had seen that through Tor Nightfire. It was someone, I guess, had done a review that said it's like daytime horror. And I was like, yeah, that's definitely what's happening here. And so I reached out to you and I'm like, would love to have you on the show. And I'm so glad you agreed. And this being your first pod. So we're super excited to welcome you aboard. But your book is fantastic. So really excited to dive in.
Thank you.
Yes. So one of the things we always like to ask, and you can tee it up however you'd like, but um, how would you position the book? How would you pitch it? Or if someone were up to be like, who should read this? What's it about? Like, what are they getting into?
And honestly, I really want to hear that because I want to know.
Yeah, I love a spoiler. I love talking about spoilers. So if you want to talk about them, I'm so into it. I'm so into it.
Hey,
And
Okay, all
usually,
right.
I usually,
so if you want to hear, listen, now's your time to stop. If you want to wait until
okay.
you read Morsel,
Yeah,
then come back and listen. But otherwise,
because I have questions that are going to
yes.
spoil.
Yeah, I think
So
we
I
both felt like it was very much like we were watching a really great daytime horror movie.
thank you so much.
Yeah.
It, it was very, I read that and I was like, oh, Ari Aster, like midsummer vibes. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
That's absolutely what I was, like, really trying to go for, and
You
wasn't
nailed
sure
it.
that I so it's very affirming to hear that it was kinda close. That's great. I usually I usually pitch it as a horror novella about a young career professional, who's trying to climb the corporate ladder, but actually hates her job and hates most of her life. She gets sent on a rural assignment, and shit goes down, things get crazy, things get really awful, and she also has her dog with her.
Yeah.
And that's typically the pitch for people who, haven't read the book yet, and I don't want to spoil it. But for people who want to be spoiled, I tell them there's a big genre shift
Yeah.
between the people are maybe the bad guys, or maybe it's a person who's a bad guy, to no, it's a unknowable, possibly ancient monster and a
Yeah.
cult. Watch out.
Yes.
Yeah, we get borderline cosmic like towards the
Yeah.
end. It feels like almost.
Well, I think the first thing that intrigued me is like they're in the coffee shop and, just talking about her. And it's just like the way that these people are speaking in there. I would love if you touch on that a little bit and how you set the tone of,
Yeah, I think I was wondering, like, how personal is the,
yeah.
corporate hell that she lives in the
Yeah.
first, like, 25% or so of this book?
Oh, buddy, it is 99% personal. I can tell you how I got to this story. I went to college, got a bunch of crappy jobs, and I found a job as a training assistant appraiser. And it was my first like office job that I'd ever had. And a lot is me. My mom worked in hospice and was an STNA her whole life. I have seen like the bodily effects of capitalism, and I got an office job. I thought this is it. Like I made it. Like I'm not literally like wiping people's butts until I die and breaking my body with capitalism. This must be the dream. And it just wasn't. It wasn't at all. Sent me to a bunch of really strange, scary places. Just me out in the middle of nowhere, Ohio, appraising properties and taking pictures. And one day they sent me to a property that was in Southern Ohio. It was Now I didn't even know that there were swamps in Ohio, but it was in a swamp.
Well,
And
that's
there
a
was
harsh
just this like,
truth.
I know, I was so surprised, but it was down this like incredibly thin road with swamp on either side. And I came up to this red gate with a bunch of strange runes on it. And this was in the book originally, but it did not make the cut. One of the runes was a stick person made out of twine with a stake in its heart.
No.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Okay, I'm kind
Yes.
of jaw dropped for a minute, stake in the heart.
I
Okay.
feel like Emma here. What are you doing? Why are
What
you
are you doing?
Emma
Now
is
I
the best friend.
Yes, yes. Well, Emma
It's
is very,
amazing.
very close to real
Yeah,
life best friend. Olivia, she did not approve of the path of my thoughts when I approached this gate either. But I didn't go past the gate. I was like, this is a bad idea. So I
yeah,
turned around. But
good.
I always wondered like what could have happened if I didn't? Like what's the wildest thing that could have happened to me if I had gone through that gate? And what I came up with was morsel.
You
That
know what? That makes me just enjoy the book even
yes,
more because I love how you took like the intrusive thoughts of what could have happened and then just turned it into something that really was terrifically ominous and of all the things that you're like, I hope this doesn't happen. And this is kind of like near and dear to my heart right now for a few reasons. A, because I just got back from this girls trip and we were in the middle of like I guess I would call it like a repressed coal town in the middle of nowhere in like
Poconos.
well
Yeah,
the Berwick Poconos part of Pennsylvania. Uh the largest part of industry that I saw was like cemeteries and selling headstones.
wonderful.
And just we were like, where do these people work? Like there was nowhere around. And then we're turned onto our road that we were going to the Airbnb and it's like I'm like, "Oh my god, this really feels like the setting of Morsel." And then Nanette, who I'm with, is like, "Look at that house, it's so cute." I'm like, "That is haunted. That is not cute. That is no." And then we get in we first of all, then we can't get into the house, like, we're doing it wrong, whatever. Finally get in, it's dark, it is so foggy. I mean, it's like out of a novel. We're like,
No.
"Shit," you know? And we get in, and she's like, "Man, I feel like I'm in Wrong Turn Country." And I'm like, "Oh my god, I didn't even know you knew that movie, and why would you bring that up?" But she nailed it,
Say
right?
that. Don't say that.
And it was just like, I'm like, "Oh my god, this makes me feel like the place where, they're out and they're knocking on the doors and they're looking at the surveying," and I'm like so I'm just, I could easily see how you're creeped out because it's like you're in the woods, but you're not fully in the woods, but there's, like, some decent looking houses and there's some ones where you're like, "I don't even wanna approach this," and, like, the surveying,
Mhm,
so also, Adam, I'm picturing this place as we used to drive down there by the river when we had that one Airbnb where our house flooded,
uh-huh.
and it would just be like, "All this land is for sale," and then there'd be, like, nothing forever and so much woods, and then it'd be, like, a big, beautiful home, and I'm thinking,
Mhm.
"That's where they're at."
Well,
Where I'm
it's
like, "Who lives there? Who
it
took this space and said, 'You know what?
yeah, this is
I'm
where I
gonna'"
wanna live.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, it's funny because I was kind of like you did the appraisals, and I was for many years in lending and commercial lending.
Mm.
And I distinctly remember being like usually they would come, to you to sign papers and stuff, but every now and again, they would say, "Hey, we need you to come out here." And I remember the one time very similarly, and it was a big deal. Like, I was like, "Okay." Like, it was like it was like for a fleet of cars for this company, and we weren't a huge, like, credit union, so it was a big deal for us, and it was about 2 hours drive. Do you remember this?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, and I remember pulling up on this place and thinking like, "Well, it was a good run."
No.
Because I'm like,
Yep.
"This is scary," and there was, like, it was this huge business, but no one's there, and then this one guy kinda walks out chewing on something, and he's like, "Here with the papers," and I'm like, "Oh god." I'm like,
No.
"Yeah." I'm like, "That's me. Hi," So, I definitely have that where it's just like, it's for work, you're going to be safe, so you just do it, right?
Yeah, you just have to do it. Like you're what are you gonna do? Say no and then lose your paycheck, not be able to pay your rent? Like, yeah, just
Yeah,
gonna go out in the middle of nowhere.
and I love, like, even before this, there's always, somehow, whether in the lunchroom or just get cornered, that someone comes up to you, whether it's like straight up MLM or just some kind of weird thing that you want nothing to do with, that you end up like having to at least give lip service to and go to like one event at either a job or like a friend of a friend. And I think like the way that you capture these characters, these 2 women that do this to Lou, I think, like, again, I'm like, this must be a universal experience too.
I do think it is. I really think it is. It's to me young to middle-aged women who just are genuinely desperate to succeed, but don't seem to understand why they're not succeeding, which is because of the patriarchy. Like, you can't MLM your way out of oppression, and that's hard for people to learn, I think.
But you know what? Okay, first of all, that should be a shirt, like
Yeah,
a
you can't
sticker, a
MLM
bumper
your
sticker.
way out of the patriarchy. That is like,
That is
guys,
the
if
she
you
said out of
learn one
oppression, but
thing
I
out
like
of
the
oppression.
but I like the patriarchy maybe even more
Uh-huh.
because it's not that the patriarchy does oppress, but I
Yes.
think saying it is more, the idea of like hustler and let's be a girl
Mhm.
boss and all that other whatever. But I mean, really, LLMs don't give a shit who they take advantage of.
Mm-mm.
It is really
Yeah.
like stepping on the backs of others and profiting off of other people's hard work and selling a false American dream. So I'm going to go with the patriarchy.
No, definitely.
I actually have a book, Carter, that I haven't read yet, but I picked up and I'm so excited to read it. But it's called, as you can tell, because it's been on my TBR for a few months. But I am
Yeah.
really so excited. But it's called Hey Hun,
Oh, yeah.
and it's all the
I
people.
read that.
Did
Hey
you?
Hun,
So
oh,
You read it?
good.
I got to hear about it.
I really enjoyed it. I actually read it for research.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense because I'm like, that's these freaking people that have the audacity that they haven't spoken to you, they don't know you, whatever, and they're just like, "Hey, hon."
And, most of them, like, were assholes to you,
Yeah,
too.
they are
Mhm.
sorry. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. They're very Republican trad wife.
Yes, yes. They definitely, definitely are. It's the, you can have it all kind of dream, but wrapped up in like a trad wife, wrapping paper. You get to have like you're an entrepreneur. You get to have a home business, but it's
But you
not a
gotta make
business.
this investment, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You gotta spend money to make money, don't you know that?
What is it, like, this
Yes.
$1,000 that she has to go on this weekend for? I'm like, "God,
And then you, like,
that
tell
is
them no,
hell."
and they're just like,
They don't leave you alone.
"No." There used to be a woman on, I guess it was originally TikTok, but she's probably still out there, but she would cover all of these MLMs and just expose the fuck out
Oh,
of them. But it started with, the Lululemon.
hopefully she's still alive.
She's in the Lululemon documentary,
No,
the
yeah,
one
I
that they
know, I'm just
made.
saying,
But
she probably
yeah,
had a target on her.
well, they would be a lot of people would be like, "Well, that's not true." And she was like, "No," like, she would just break it down as to how they were just it's bullshit. It was great. I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure she's alive.
I was kidding. I mean, not kidding, but,
It's always an important caveat. We're not sure, but I
Mhm.
think. But yeah, just to get the insider's perspective of, and I was thinking about how, like, my guilty pleasure is Sister Wives, 100%. I don't even watch the show anymore. Just love listening to 4 different podcasts that
Same.
Sister Wives Mary, like Lululemon, she built like an empire off of that. And then now 2 of them sell Plexus, which I'm not even sure what's all, and then like their kids sell some of the Plexus
Mm,
too. And when you're kind of already, infamous, you just, "Oh,
you
I'm
probably
I'm
get
under
yeah.
their downline." You know what I mean? There's a little bit of like notoriety for it, but yeah, I mean, just the I don't know, man. I feel like I did Mary Kay, which is like,
When you were, like,
Mhm.
twice.
nine
Not once, but fucking
oh,
twice,
yeah.
okay? I'm still not over it, okay? And it was like basically the first time I was absolutely hoodwinked and pretty much just went into debt because I was like 20, 21 years
And
old
they were like,
and
"Get a
trusted this
credit card
woman.
out."
Told me to get out a credit card and I was like, "Okay." I didn't even have one. She's like, "You can return all this." No, bitch, I couldn't.
Yeah.
Okay, 1. 2, as I got older, then it was my close Christian friends when we were really into like, they were like, "How are you gonna sell product if you don't have it on
Mhm.
hand?" And blah, 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 blah. And you're gonna have to write a letter for Mary Kay to let you back in, but they'll let you back in. And I was just like,
Whew.
I hate this. I
Oh,
absolutely hate this.
oh my gosh.
Yes, and I was like, I felt like I was gonna lose the friendships of these women, which thank God I have and I made the choice to right? Because, like, once
Yeah.
you stop culting with them and you stop going to evangelical church with them, you just, you fall out of their circle of influence anyway. But I see that some of them have just moved on to something else, and it's like they're on to the next thing
Mhm.
of the next ML.
Yes, it's It's built to be that way. It's entirely cyclical. It's just try something else. When I was working at legally this place,
Yeah.
we won't say the name.
Yeah.
It was at the time that the Nixium stuff was coming out, and
Oh,
I was Willa, please stop coughing. That's my dog. I apologize.
hey, she's allowed to be on here.
But during this appraisal job with another coworker, all the Nixium stuff was coming out. And with my coworker, we went on a road trip together for work, and I played the Uncover podcast, like the first episode, and her reaction to it was just kind of devastation because she was in a very similar MLM that was, like, much bigger. It wasn't as small, like, close-knit, like the way that, Keith Raniere's, like, little group was that he was
Mhm.
primarily abusing, but
Yeah.
her she just kept saying, "They're just they're twisting the mentality, they're twisting our message." I was like, "No, this is your message, though. They're not twisting it, they're just
Yes.
using it."
Yes. And that's so important because it's like it is structured the way that you would think a business should be. And it is so coded in opportunity. The opportunity. Did you share about the opportunity? It's very much like did you share about the gospel this week?
Yeah.
I could see
Yes.
if you could go hand in hand for that where it's like
And
evangelizing,
yeah.
but I think that they don't see how they're exposing people to the detriment because it's like, "No, no, we're just asking our friends and family to support us."
Mm.
And, that's on them if they don't want to support you as friends and family.
Yes. It's
It's like
I could
start a
talk
business
about
by taking advantage of your friends and family and
Mhm.
forcing them to have parties and things that you
And then
don't.
have them do that and further and further
Now
along, but
now I will say, I just wanna make a quick disclaimer here.
Mhm.
I've never worked for Pampered Chef. I don't know anything about Pampered Chef, but that one seems the one to be one that's, like, not full of the bullshit.
oh, really?
I mean, I've never heard
What is
anything.
that? I don't think I've ever heard of that.
It's actually, like, really quality cooking pieces and whatnot, but it's still, like, you're actually getting the other one I would say would be, like, home interiors, that's years and years ago where, I mean, yeah, you could build upright soda, but you're actually buying, like, things that were
Well, that's the thing is
decent
I
and
wanted to
good
say is that,
versus
like
it being like the Plexus, like a weight loss thing or you know what
well,
I
that's
mean? At
what I was
least
saying.
some of the
Right.
ones that sell makeup, you get something.
Well, the one that's even in this book and kind of the ones you're talking about, it's selling this, like it's almost like selling this weird nebulous mindset instead of an actual, like,
Yeah.
thing, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's selling girl bossdom,
Yeah.
essentially. It's pull yourself up by your bootstraps, like, you need to make as much money as you possibly can so that you can donate to charity, and then I was also in a nonprofit. I could talk for hours about the nonprofit industrial complex. So,
From
it's
what I'm hearing is it's just as corrupt as the corporate. Is that true?
yes, yes, it's
Like, basically,
the
someone
very
had a post the other
frustrating
day, LinkedIn, that was like, "Don't be disillusioned that, like, just because it's nonprofit." Like, no, the same shit happens here.
yes. It does, and also there's an empathy aspect that not only is it very, very similar, but the empathy makes it worse because the people who you're working with generally, depending on the nonprofit, are very caring, kind, empathetic people who get into it because they want to do something good with their life. They want to contribute to the world and make other people's lives better. And when you have that, that's a really big cudgel that you can use against your employees to be like, well, why aren't you trying harder? Like, no, you can't get this day off. Or what do you mean you want to spend time with your family? Like, we're helping people here. It just,
Oh god.
yes, yes.
God, what emotional manipulation.
It is. It's 100% emotional manipulations, which is frustrating because some of the work that I was doing, I was working in reentry, which is people coming out of prison. And we were helping people like in really genuine ways, like helping people get birth certificates and IDs, which
Wow,
you
that sounds
don't,
amazing.
right. It's very simple. It's incredibly helpful, but the the system and the way that you get grants and the way that the supervisors and the CEOs and all of it act just really makes it so hard to take pride in, like, the things you're actually doing to make the world better. It's wild. It's so wild. I don't recommend it.
That's disheartening. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's some good ones. There's definitely good ones.
I
It's
hope
just
so. But I
the
mean, just to know that, even if you're doing some good, that as the worker,
Mm.
you're kind of, we're like, hey, to your point, Carter, where you're saying, most likely someone who took this job has these attributes and we can exploit them.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can definitely
Yeah.
see that because you see it enough, like, in a regular position of, like, "But don't you wanna move up? Don't why would you take this time off?" Like, I can imagine that being exploited into the, like, "Well, the prison system doesn't take time off and, they still
Yeah.
come in that," and you're just okay, and
Exactly.
you're abandoning them at the time of need, but you go ahead and go on your vacation, It's like, "Oh."
Yes, exactly. Have you ever seen the, nonprofit executive? I think she's on TikTok. She's this woman who does impressions of, like, a nonprofit executive director, and it is the funniest shit. It's so funny.
I'm going to
She, like,
look
has,
again.
like,
Yeah,
a you've gotta it's beautiful. She has a cardigan, and she's always, like, pulling the cardigan and being like, "Well, we're just, like, helping the world. We're helping the
uh,
world, though."
I love all those ones that are just like, they're the one that's going around right now that I keep seeing is my partner's working from home or like as home on a day, and I work from home, which is genuinely what happens to you a lot.
yeah.
And you're like, we're thinking of first quarter, and then because of the fourth quarter, and then this quarter's quartering, and we're not advancing. And I'm like, oh my god, I feel like that's exactly what you hear on
The
my
meetings, yeah.
all the time. It's just like, yeah,
Yep.
the jargon.
I have jargon too, mine's just all 6, 7, and riz.
I was saying something to my mom the other day. She goes, "Did they really say that?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's like complete like normal corporate language." She's like, I can't think of what it was that she said, but I was like, "Have you ever heard of like boil the ocean?" And she's like, "No." Because she's, out of the corporate world and she never was, and she's
Okay,
75.
I don't know if I've heard boiled ocean.
It's
That
like
doesn't sound like a great
like,
idea.
let's not boil the ocean because you can't. It's like, let's not put all our time and resources and
Oh.
energy
Oh,
into.
trying to do something that can't happen.
Yeah, it's like,
Okay.
it's like, that's ridiculous. Why would you take on that scope of work because
I
all the time and energy in that? But,
you
there's
know,
always like the juice isn't worth the squeeze.
it was funny, I had a
Yeah.
friend that was in, I forget which it was like, one of the knife ones that they sold knives or
Oh,
something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
It was way back, like,
What was
20
that
some
called?
year Cutco?
Cutco,
Yeah.
yeah.
And, like, he was
I
trying
remember
to
that.
sell us these knives, and we're like, "Well, maybe in a whatever in a few." It was my parents he was trying to sell knives to, and then afterwards, he's telling me about, like, this program and stuff and how to, like, get them hyped up, they would, like, have these, like, sleepover nights where they would just, like, drink and, like, watch Boiler Room, which if you've ever
What the
seen.
hell?
What?
Yeah, and, like, get them hyped up to be like, "Yeah, let's steal basically from people," watching Boiler Room, which is a movie about, like, fake stock market, like, execs and, like, high stakes selling, and I'm like, he
What?
finished, and I looked at him, I was like, we're not gonna buy these fucking knives now, right?" Like, if that's and he's like, "Yeah, I probably shouldn't told you about that." I'm like, "What
Who
the"
was this?
I'll tell you later.
No.
Wow.
No, someone I went to
Wow.
school with. Yeah, and I'm just like, "Wait, so they're, like, telling you this is a scam, basically?" And he's like, "Yeah, but we can make a lot of money." I'm like, "Okay," and that's why I think Cutco's not around anymore,
No.
right? Yeah, good. So I don't have to blink that out or get
But there's
cut.
so many things, like, I'm thinking of
Yeah.
even, like, the Primerica. "Oh, let's just sit down. Let's just plan
Uh-huh.
for your future."
Any of those, yeah.
You know?
Mhm.
I'm just skeptical of
Well,
any
when
of
you
that
think of
shit.
especially when they're trying to hire and they're like, "Okay, you don't actually get paid until you,
Yeah.
like, sell things and stuff like that." I'm like, "What are you supposed to do for that, like, months-long period when you're
It's
not
about the
doing."
opportunity
Yeah, but
It's an honor. It's an
yeah,
honor.
Right, pretty much.
exactly. Well, let's move on to something much happier, which is Ripley, and I just wanna know, is Ripley based on a specific dog? Is it just, like, the fact that dogs are much better than we are?
And your
Like
profile picture on
y
Instagram is with your dog.
yes,
So
Yes. Yes, Ripley is 100% my dog Willa.
who was just called
100%.
welcome to the show,
She
Willa.
Yeah, welcome to the show. She's sleeping on her little bed right now. It For a lot of my life, I really have just derived far more comfort from animals than I have people, and I was like,
Yes, yes.
what am I gonna do in this book to make this person not just be alone, and also find comfort when she doesn't not when they're not able to find comfort from themselves. I know, I'll include a dog.
Spoiler alert, the dog does go through some shit, but the dog
Whew.
is okay. You a lot of people
Yes.
are like, "Is the dog gonna be okay?" That's yeah, it's okay. I For those of us that are, like, still healing from Homeward Bound,
Oh boy, yeah.
Well, that's the thing, let's venture into our first spoilers
listen,
here.
it took me a long
No,
time to
listen,
forgive Jeff Goldblum in The Fly for what they fucking did
but
to that.
no, no, okay, I'm just saying, let's venture into some spoiler territory here, and I wanna know, like, my first question is Ripley okay?
Here's my
See,
I
I
will
feel
tell
like
you
it was
my
an
head cat.
itch.
She is my headcanon is that in, like, 2 years, Lou figures out how to handle what
Okay,
has happened to her,
okay,
and she's got it, and Ripley's good.
okay,
But it's not gonna be great for a
yeah,
couple ye
okay, for, well, anyone around them, I'm assuming.
Yeah, yeah. Not great for anyone around them, no.
Okay,
I
we'll leave it at
basically
that.
I wonder why you
Okay,
felt I didn't
honestly,
got away from there, but that it's important that you asked.
okay, we'll talk about it, yeah,
I just felt
but
like towards the like, at the it was like, "It's gonna be okay.
yeah,
It's going to be okay."
yeah, yeah, so
yes, I agree. I did end it with, purposefully for me specifically, like, this is going to be okay.
yeah,
It it's not gonna be fun, but
Yeah,
it's
you
gonna be
a line in the sand has been drawn, we're never going back, but it's going to be okay.
mhm. So one thing that I really loved, one of the moments, like, as things are starting to get creepy, and I wanna go back to the first kind of things that happen, but there's a moment where Lou is going to get help because her first she encounters a kind of horrifying, possibly rabid coyote.
Mhm.
Then her gas tank is punctured, and she's looking for help, and I love
And
the
hold on, she's not supposed to have brought Willow with her, or not Willow, I mean,
Ripley,
Ripley with
yeah,
her, but she has, because
yes.
she's not a
Well,
fool,
she
she's like, "I'm
needs a
taking my
yeah,
dog," right?
but the moment where she decides she is not going to the new build house, I think is one of the like, I have don't know if I've ever, like, been simpatico with a character more than that moment because 'cause I'm like, "Absolutely fucking not." Am I There's something so weird about being in the middle of nowhere, and there's this perfect house with, like, what looks like
Yes.
no one there, but then the blinds are rustling. I'm like, "Fuck no, I am moving on."
Heck no.
You always have your senses up, so I believe that 1,000%.
So, I love that
You're
touch.
right. You are right. Your senses are correct.
So, I mean, and obviously that comes back into play, but, like, at that moment, is that just kind of, like, what you would do too? Or, like, I just love that.
Absolutely. At the time that I was writing it, it was after I had quit my appraisal job. I had had a couple years to stew, and at the time, I was living in a mobile home park in, like, a kind of rural area, and it was the happiest I had ever been in a living situation. I had lived in suburbs, in places that, like, my mom could not afford, but wanted me to go to a good school, and the moment that I moved into a trailer park, I was like, "These are my people. This is people who have, like, a house that looks like it's falling down." That's actually the kindest person you'll meet,
I love that.
Right?
and it's like, I wanted to incorporate that because on these appraisal trips, I would see, like you were talking about previously, these homes that are brand new, they're perfect, and they always have this a strange, very, very expensive car that somehow has no mud on it in the
Yeah.
front yard, and it was always it felt surreal to me, like, "How did you get here? Why are you here? What are you doing out
Who
in the
are you
middle of nowhere?"
visiting? How did you that's
It's like a
my
weird, like, twist of that sort of when you're on, like, a road trip and you're in this, like, you get off the highway and there's nothing for miles upon miles upon miles, but there's this giant rest stop, and, like,
Mhm.
I always think about how do people get here? Who works here? And it's the same thing of, like, who lives here and why?
Well, that's why I said that's what happened to me this weekend, and it was people from New York City that have come in and purchased some of it. It's even, like, when we went to, the Aldi, it was like um items that I had just bought before heading up there from the local Aldi were like
Mhm.
20, 30 cents cheaper. Like it is just like for example, like the little like makeup takeoff wipes are like $1.19 in where at and they were 98 cents. And I know that's not, but it does add up.
It's weird.
You know? Well, I'm just saying it, and it was just I mean, you could tell by the areas that are around and the stores that were there, and we were just like, "Where can anybody even work?" And
Yeah.
yet at the same time, okay, somebody's coming up here, these homes
Mhm.
are like, and obviously Airbnb already has that. People are like, "Fuck off," you've taken all the good inventory in the homes away from people and stuff. But that's my answer, is I think that they are probably generationally wealthy or have made investment properties, or this is another home where they don't have to work there anymore
Yeah.
because there is no work.
Well, that's interesting because not much longer after that, a character says, "Oh, that's a rental. People are always coming and going from there," right?
Yes, exactly. There's this commodification of the rural that capitalism likes to do, and people who really, really benefit from it because it's something that the culture of being in a rural area seems like something that is associated with poverty. And of course, when you're really wealthy, like you want what you can't have, which is to be poor, but to make it look good. It's an aesthetic
Are you
rather
sure this is
than a
the
way
first
of
time
life.
you've ever been on a podcast?
Yeah, this is so good.
I feel like, do you have a degree in this stuff or is this just all from your research?
I went to college for environmental studies and creative writing, but I read a lot. I've read a lot. I talk a lot to a lot of people about stuff like this.
Well, I mean, you just have your words together in a way that again, you could just have another I mean, the commodification. You want what when you're rich, you want what you can have, which is to be poor. And you think about like those clothes, like the free people and the things that have holes in it already. And
Yes,
just, you're just spot on with,
Mhm.
you're painting the picture, what you're saying. I'm like, oh, I see where you're going. And you're right. It is. It's like, you know, you, it's I don't know. I don't know if it's just thrilling or what, but it seems back out ass backwards, like they already have the
yes,
dream. Let's just try to have what we take away from other people that still don't have it.
yes, exactly. It's sick.
Yeah,
It really is. It's like wearing not that like poverty is a culture, but there are definitely cultural things that are associated to different groups of people when they are living in poverty, and people wear that like a costume.
yeah.
They do.
It's just another thing that it's like it's all for the vibes, right?
Yes, exactly.
Ugh. So I want to talk about there's the scene where Lou goes into the next house, which while at first does seem sort of run down, she quickly realizes this place is really kept with a lot of care and love. And which, is really interesting as you talk about sort of, the different people and who lives there and stuff like that, that while this person, okay, they're not the wealthiest and all that kind of stuff, they really take pride in their home. And there's a lot of things that happen in that scene that show you that. But I wanna talk about how this scene is an absolute masterclass in tension and suspense. Because
Yeah.
I don't
Thank
know
you
if
so much. Thank you.
I was so stressed out during this
Yes.
entire scene, not knowing where the danger is coming
Yes.
from, who is the problem, until you suddenly very much do,
Yes.
And
Yes.
I just wonder, like, did that all come out, like, how much editing was involved in that? How much did you envision that, like, initially? Like, that scene, changes everything, changes the course of what's
The
happening in this
novel,
book,
really.
and I just wanted to go back and read it again immediately.
Thank you so much. That I wanted to I knew I needed to make Clarence a character who I would love,
And I
a
did.
person who I would yes, so I would just, like, connect with immediately, who initially I'd be like, "I don't know. I'm in the middle of nowhere. You are an older, large man." Like, things could be very bad very easily, but there's that switch of like, "Oh, wait, no. You're a person who is like me, who has had experiences similar to mine, which is that you're around, like, salt of the earth people, you get it." I a lot of editing went into it. A lot, a lot. Have you seen, oh my goodness, what's it called? Barbarian?
Yes.
Yes, I watched that movie quite a lot
Yeah.
too. It was very helpful for me. It influenced the scene a lot. That, like, tension of, like, "Are you good? Are you bad? Are you gonna hurt me?"
Yes. The Bill
And if
Skarsgård
you
character where you're like, "What
Yeah,
under" like, in it's funny because it's, like, that point of, like, something happened, and I'm like, up until that point, I'm like, "I'm pretty sure, but I still don't 100% trust you." You know what I mean? And then it's like, suddenly I feel bad for everything that I felt. And
yeah,
it kinda is that is kinda what happens with Bill Skarsgård's character too, right?
it is, exactly, it
Yeah.
is. Yeah, neither of them have very good luck with their heads
Yeah,
whatsoever.
yes.
That's
It's
amazing.
I wanted to it was really important to me to reflect what I see in real life, which is that people are, at least like everyday people you meet in your real life, are not necessarily good or bad. They're really extremely nuanced. Like
Yes.
someone who has all the red flags, like, I don't know, they might just be super duper awkward. You don't know. Or to someone who has all the right flags, the good ones, like they could be legit evil. And I just wanted to put nuance into Clarence in being a person out in the middle of nowhere encountering someone who's very, very afraid,
Yeah.
and some nuance into the sheriff as well, even though
Mhm.
he is, like, not a good guy. Not
Yeah.
a good guy at all.
Well, I love Clarence's emotional intelligence. You know, like, the way that he, like, looks at Lou at certain points and is like, "Well, how about we do it this way? Like, would this make you more comfortable? How about I you give me the number and I'll die," like, all those things where he's like, "I understand you don't want to not be able to see my hands or not be able to use yours," and, like, all those things, and I'm like, "Oh my god, if people just had that sort of, like, basic decency and respect for the person in front of them, like, what a different world we would have," right?
Yes, I my personal headcanon is that he has an older daughter who has put in a lot of effort in teaching
Yes,
him.
I love that.
It's probably I mean, that seems pretty legit, right?
Yes.
Because if you're of that age, you probably had to have someone tell someone because it's not natural to come about that, I don't think.
It's definitely incredibly rare, I think.
Yeah.
I think that most
You
of
probably
society
had
is
to have
pushing against it.
some kind of trauma or something that
Well, he's
you
probably
were
heard a
yeah.
lot of stories of what his daughter has gone
Yes,
through, right?
Mhm.
that's
And
what I
said,
mean.
like, "I never wanna be someone that makes someone like my daughter feel that way," which is really just
Cute.
decent, you know?
Mhm.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was definitely going for. It's, the eldest therapized daughter role, but she's just not on screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you just decided to harm him?
Yeah.
Bye.
Well, and then the thing is that, like, okay, so it takes the turn and Lou realizes she's in serious, serious trouble, but
Yes.
he's in trouble from people that at their hearts are fucking idiots, right?
Yes.
Which I just love, and Lou is someone that's like, so many different times in horror novels and stuff like that, there are moments where you're like, "Oh, I just wish the character would do this," and, Lou kinda talks about the point because it's like, "You're probably gonna die anyway, so make it as hard as possible for them and just fight," and I think that's, like, the second half of that book is just Lou doing that, and it is leads to some of the most satisfying moments in a book. Like, I'm thinking especially, like, involving a character that is, like, could be so menacing, but you laugh at them because they're constantly getting the shit beat out of them by her
Yes, yes.
or Greg, right?
Yeah. Yes, Greg.
But not for Greg, 'cause fuck him.
Yeah, seriously, fucking
I don't wanna, like, glorify quote unquote "street smarts," but
Yes,
it is a case of, like, people who I imagine pretty across the board coming from privilege and still wanting more and not knowing how to
yeah,
get it. So they're, "Well, I don't know, let's worship a god, I guess." And meanwhile, Lou is over here like, "God, I just really would like to pay my rent, guys."
yeah,
That's what I would like to do. She just has it's the leg up that I think that poor people sometimes have, not all the time, but sometimes have on other folks who grew up super privileged, which is that they're not nearly as stupid.
Yeah, and the privileged people expect the other people to just take it, right?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. It's the case of, "Aren't I intimidating?" And it's not. You're not actually intimidating, you just have money. But in this context, like, you're not buying anything, you're threatening someone, and you're
Right.
not actually good at it.
Yeah.
And, like, there's a few moments too where, like, the big human bad is like, "Don't you wanna hear why we're doing this? Don't you wanna hear, like, the story of this?" And it's like, "No, I don't care, like, in the slightest. This is all stupid, and I just want to beat you and get out of here and go back to my life."
I feel like you very much
Yeah.
agree with this
I'm telling you.
because you would be like, "I don't know, I don't f" Yeah.
It's like, "Really?" Like, I just was appraised like, "Can I still just, like, give you the appraisal and, like, go home? Like, I'm done with this, guys."
It's interesting you say
I
that about the smarts though, because, you know, I was told a lot as a kid, and I grew up incredibly rural, but my mother came from, like, a very educated household with the expectation from, like, her father, who was just, like, a botanist and had done all these patents, like, just, education and speaking well and pronounce all the and kind of groomed in those sort of ways, whereas, like, my dad's family was they could not care anymore about any of those things, and so it was, like, this intersection of living in a rural area and having all these, like, manners and language and, like, how do I wanna say it? Just, the expectation of what I had to do, and, what I feel like what you're saying about that is I felt always, like, out of place because no one that I lived around spoke like I did. They were always like, "Why are you using big words?" And I'm like, "Not. I'm just talking normal," because in my household, that's what was the expectation and everything. But I didn't have any, like, threats or anything, but I remember, like, when you start kind of branching out and you're meeting different people that I made a really good friend, and I would go over to her house, and I really loved her mother, and her mother really loved me, and she would say, like, "You are really book smart, but you are so dumb. Like, you have no
no.
she would be like, "You are so gullible." Like, I would sit there and soak up everything she said. She's like, "I'm joking," or like, "Not I'm like, "No," or she'd say words and I'd say, "What is that?" But it would be
Mhm.
like criticisms or things that were said on the street, and I would be like, "I have no idea what you're talking about." I was just I guess what I wanna say is, like, so sheltered, even though we didn't have money, you know what I mean? It was just kinda like
Mhm.
that passing
That
down there.
mindset is still
It
the
was still
same.
there, right, and, I still feel like I struggle with, like, the naivety and the gullibility, whereas you, Adam, you grew up among you were considered to be, like, were the help on a private
Mhm.
estate in Washington, DC of 4 acres around everything was, like, $1,000,000 homes, high end you're going to people with, like, where they're going to Sidwell Friends, like, where the Clintons kids went, and you go to
Mhm.
public school, and your level of, "Okay, I know I have to be so aware of every" you know what I mean? So it's like you were among
Plus
all the
a
money,
home
but
with a, like, abusive narcissistic mother that
yeah,
I had to very, like, I was always testing what was going I had to be very, vigilant, hyper
vigilant.
vigilant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't trust
You're
anybody.
yeah, but you're
I'm like
always consistently suspicious of people,
yeah, and
and you're always right. I
yes.
say it now, like, you have significant discernment, but they very rarely do people pass the vibe check.
If they
They
don't
flunk your vibe test, I can't think of a time that you've been wrong,
yeah,
and I just don't feel like
and
I
I
have that skill set.
well, I feel like Lou's the same way where it's
That's
kinda
what I'm
like
talking about, like, you guys relate
right,
because
but it's like, that thing where it's like and obviously the time period of the book is a lot faster than that, but I feel like she would be the one that's like, "Okay, I met you and I don't like you, and now I have to wait 2 years for everyone else to realize why you suck."
yeah,
You know?
Yes.
always
Yes,
you,
exactly.
and you're just like, I'm always and I've come back several times to be like, "I'm sorry." Over the years, like, I just didn't see it, but that's what it is. It's like, I just wasn't I think you're right that you get a level my point in a roundabout way of saying that is I do think that when you have to thrive and survive a little bit more versus, when you're not growing up in like a spoon fed sort of, educational only, like, you don't have to. bring out those traits of hypervigilance
But I
because
yeah.
oh, no.
I don't think that, like, this is the case for you, like, in the sense of what I'm gonna say, like,
Uh-huh.
what I think it might be, because it isn't like a street smart, but it is more of a, like, you didn't have the privilege of being self-centered, right? And I think that's what it is, like, these other people, they didn't have to think about anyone else but themselves. So when you're in a situation where you have to figure things out, they're at a serious disadvantage because all they're used to is thinking about their own sort of, like, happiness, right?
Yeah. I think they walk into a room and think that everyone likes them.
Yeah, I think you're right, or just even when it's like it's so crazy that you're saying that because, um, where I work right now, the CEO keeps saying like, "Hey, I know somebody whose kid's trying to get a job. Who do you know that can help my friend's kid?" And I'm like, I've asked like 5 different places and they're like he's yeah, we really gotta put our heads together and like
That's what you're doing at
that
your job?
yeah, and I'm thinking like, okay,
Wow.
I didn't mind helping,
Oh,
like, to
man.
make the connections first, but now I'm like, okay, everybody else is out here struggling.
Ah,
We're all figuring it out,
the jobs
sir.
report just said it was what? We
It
lost
was another
90,000
92
jobs?
yeah, and I'm like and you're sitting here saying that that's
We need
part
to
of
figure out how to get this rich kid a job?
exactly. Yeah, because it's upsetting my friend.
That's
Ooh,
wild. I will
And he's
say,
like, "Well, he
I
invested a
listened, I've
lot of time and a lot of money and what's" I'm like, "How many other fucking people
mhm,
do you think have invested and are using their college degrees and paying" like, you know what I mean? Like, are
yeah,
you that unaware that everybody
mhm,
else is suffering like this? But that's basically
yes,
kind of what's happening in your
yes, they
story.
are.
Yeah. I mean, it was just like, okay. It's embarrassing, I think, but there's no self-awareness,
right.
I think.
I I've listened to your podcast, and I will say you sound like a discerning person to me. I too am gullible. I relate to that. I believe people when they say things to me because I just think like, well, it's so stupid to lie. Why would you be stupid?
I guess what I should say is I think I am discerning. I appreciate you saying I think I am discerning. But I'll say here's what I think is the difference between Adam and I. I will give you
The
the benefit of the
mhm.
doubt until you prove me wrong, whereas Adam's like, "You're a fucking horrible person until you prove me otherwise."
I will I will doubt that you give
Yeah.
benefit to my life.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So, I think that's what it is. It's like, I genuinely like people, and Adam's like, "Most people aren't good." So, it's like but then you have I just think that you've had a lot of experience where
I swear I'm not an asshole, though,
no, you're
like
not. I'm saying if you actually like somebody, it's pretty it's pretty high stamp of and that sounds rude to say it like that, but for me, so I have learned a lot. I think there's a lot of patterns. I think a lot of these behaviors because I did have to be hyper vigilant in my household as
mhm,
well, and I was not allowed to think about myself.
yeah,
But I think
Mhm.
because maybe I had undiagnosed ADHD and I just never saw shit coming. I was just in my own head and my own world of, of just like and I didn't expect that people were out to manipulate
mhm,
and take advantage of. I was just very naive.
Yeah. I think that's very relatable. I think that's a lot of people's experience, especially with the ADHD part. It's like everything is new, even though it's not.
Yeah, and I was just like, "I like you, you like me, we're having fun,"
if
and
you say this, then that's what you mean. Because when I say something, I mean it.
exactly, and I have, like, the strongest sense of, like, justice, like,
Mhm,
Adam knows, like, I hate lying.
yeah,
Like, it, like, hurts me to lie, and I
mhm,
just think, well, I would rather be honest and tell the truth and it just have the uncomfortable thing than to lie
Mhm.
about it.
mhm,
Yeah. It's I to me, it's something I really struggle with a lot with most of the world, the people in the world, is that I think most people view conversations and interactions like an iceberg. There's what you can see and then everything underneath it. I am not like that. I'm a paddleboard. There's nothing under it's only what I'm saying. That's all.
Yes, I think that's where it is I'm like, I'm just gonna show up.
that's another amazing image, I love that.
She's great. Thank goodness Lou has this, wits about her
Mhm,
to be like, "Nope, nope." Thank goodness, I think, like, probably there's a frequency if we could study it of just bad vibes, bad vibes.
yeah,
Something's not right here. Plus, it's set in the woods, and there's a lot of creepy shit like you were
yeah,
talking about that
and we kinda talked about to start with,
Yeah.
the vast majority of this book takes place
during the
in the
day.
day. I'm just wondering how purposeful that was because horror is, a nighttime genre usually, and I just love that choice.
Well, it's very purposeful because the corporate world is mostly during the day, and boy, oh boy, is that a horror show. It's your daily life, people's daily life is like that's where most of the horror in their lives derives from. It's less at night when they're, like, home alone and more like their boss being an asshole. That is the horrific thing that they have to
Yeah.
deal with.
Alright, so that's your new pitch. You're like, "Do you work in the corporate world?" "Yeah." Alright, you're gonna wanna read this book.
Are you the asshole or are you the person that's subjected to the horrors?
Yeah, I think that's
Because
the
if you're
next step.
subjected to the horrors, I got a book for you.
Then I think you might like this, where this
Yeah.
this character gets their lick back.
Yeah.
Are
So,
you a frustrated ladder climber? This
yes.
book might be for you.
I love that. And so, like, I just wanted to get into without, getting into a lot of details of what is happening when you flip that switch and it goes into gory. You do not mess around. And I'm just wondering how much fun that was to write because it is very satisfying and fun to read, even while I'm gagging a little bit.
That's one of the most surprising things about people reading this book is that like I said, my mom has worked in nursing homes for her whole life, and she couldn't afford a babysitter, so I would just, like, go with her. And she has talked to me about medical things that she has seen in her life, and so I was writing this book, and I was like, "I just feel like I'm being realistic. I'm just being accurate. I'm describing things accurately.
Damn,
This is what this would look like."
come
And
on.
people people read it, and they're like, "It's so gory," and I was like, "Oh, oh, I didn't realize that that was my perspective."
That's incredible. I did not expect you to say that. That's really cool
That is so fun. So,
and terrifying.
yeah.
It
So,
is, it's
medically
so
accurate
scary.
gore.
The body is so, so scary. It's so scary.
It's pretty fascinating because the cover of the book really, really drew me in, and I was like, "Wow, this is good looking and everything." But as we're kind of sharing here, it's like, okay, we're talking corporate, we're talking woods, we're with the dog, we're talking things don't feel right. But then the turn that it took into, I would say, like, the 90-degree turn of just, like, I couldn't see what was around the corner, but I was very pleased with it. But I mean, you it just it went hard in a way that I feel like we start an ascent into some significant violent shit
Mhm.
that you I mean, really, would you say out of, like, maybe the last 20% of the book, just I mean, you're just kinda going.
It is and, the whole book, I read this book in one sitting, and,
I did too. I
uh
stayed up. I was up
yeah,
late. I was like, "I have to finish
and
this."
it's an absolute thrill ride, but I would say that when a roller coaster begins with the big hill, this book ends with the big hill, you
Uh-huh,
know what I mean? Where you're
uh-huh.
just screaming for the last 20.
Especially and again, no spoilers, but especially that last line, that
Oh,
last sentence,
badass, yeah.
just so satisfying.
Thank you. Thank
I
you so
wouldn't be
much.
able to, like, when I wrote it, I would've been like, "I fucking kick ass." When I wr like
I really thought that. I thought that. I was like, "Damn, good. I did it. I did. I got it. I got that last line."
You know what? I
It
think I just kicked some ass and took some names.
Yeah.
I Here's the thing is that the ending of Jennifer's Body really pissed me off.
Yes.
I just felt like things should have been different. I felt
Mm,
like the whole movie should have been different.
yep,
She Jennifer, this is a hard turn, but she ends up going after people who, like, haven't actually wronged her. It's
right.
a young men who, like, are also kind of technically victims of the patriarchy also. It's like, why didn't she go after the bad guys?
Yeah.
It would've been so much better if she went after the bad guys.
And considering who wrote it, like, I've always have thought with that movie, I'm like, "Was this, like, messed with studio-wise?" It had to have been, right?
Yes, I heard so I listened to this podcast, Too Scary Didn't Watch,
Mhm.
and they talked about how the studio, at least the marketing team, had a real influence on how it was supposed to be marketed and who it was marketed towards. It was supposed to be like a raunchy, like, sex comedy,
Yeah.
essentially, and,
It
like,
reminds me
that's
of,
what
like,
it
the horror
is.
version of Coyote Ugly, where, like, it
Yes!
was sold to men in the male gaze, and it was a sweet rom-com, right? And it's like Jennifer's Body was sold as, like, this really, like, almost like softcore porn if you watch the
Yes!
trailer, and I'm like, "That is so off."
Yeah. Yeah, it seemed to me like they were trying to market it like a supernatural, Euro trip, like an early 2000s sex comedy. It's like, "That's not what
Yes.
it is." And I just that ending, it made me mad. It's like, I gotta rewrite it.
Amazing. I love that so much, and this is your debut at least published, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And to be with Tor Nightfire, like, the perfect home, like, could you get any better, like, positioning for your first release?
I can't believe they bought my book.
Oh, I love that.
I really can't. My agent was like, "I have been I have been doing this seriously, writing literally since I was 13 because again, I grew up very, very poor, and the only thing I couldn't get a job. I was like, "I'm gonna write a book. I'm gonna write a book. I'm gonna sell the book, and there you go. We'll have money." Which, of course, obviously did not work, at least at first. And I've been doing this since I was very, very young. I'm 32 now, and when my agent Susan, who is like also a dear friend to me, when they emailed me and was like, "Kristen from Torn Nightfire is interested," I was like, "Shut up! No." It was wild.
I'm so happy that you had that experience. And, you know, I can't say that for me, it's often that, you happen to get, for us anyway, that we happen to select an arc on NetGalley without, we have a lot of relationships with authors and things that we're like, oh, yeah, we want to read that book, or, you've heard about. But your book clearly appealed, and, we were approved for it, and then to be reading it and be like, "I'm just gonna message you to tell you." Yeah, if I look back, I think it was, like, close to midnight. I'm like, "I am really loving your
Yeah.
book." And, like I said, I mean, I was up late. I was like, "I have to finish this." I mean this with, like, I don't want it to come off as being, condescending, but it's like, this to me does not read like a first-time book.
No.
I mean, this reads
And
like
to hear
some.
that you've been writing that long, that makes a lot of sense.
Yes, it does, because it
Thank
is
you.
so well written. You can tell why it's been picked up by Tornite Fire, and, just the reviews and everything that are coming for it. And honestly, I feel like you're a voice that, like, as you, continue to, I mean, some of these we didn't go into all of the themes, but there's a lot of themes here of just, obviously, like, the patriarchy, and again, there's other things that we can't discuss that I think are really on point for right now, and you just tie into all that, and I think you'll be one of those voices that is like, "Oh, they have another book out. I'm gonna read that one, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
read that one." And so, with that being
Thank
said, what
you.
are you on right now, and what should we expect from
Oh,
you,
boy.
if
Thank you
anything?
so much. That was so kind. I really, really appreciate it. Um,
No, it's really, 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 really good, and it's one of those things where, like, I felt like you could see someone pick up this for, movie rights.
Oh, yeah.
man, that's the
It's that level of
Mhm.
creepy of, the type of movies that people wanna watch where it's like, "Shit."
Mm,
thank you so much. That really is the dream. So it was a 2-book deal. What I'm working on now is essentially, have you ever seen the movie Green Room?
yes.
Listen, Adam's probably seen every damn movie.
I actually
I'm gonna most of the time say, "No, I haven't."
okay, weird story. I worked with, not the main guys that made it, but one of their troupe. So I actually, when they did Murder Party, I was I got, like, a copy of it, like, right when
Oh,
they
that
were
guy
like,
where you helped with Brian Keene's store?
"No, no,
What's
Murder
this for?
Sandy."
Oh, Sandy,
Yeah.
Alex. Okay,
Mhm,
yes,
yeah.
yes, yes. Oh, that murder part. Got it,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, they made Green Room then.
That's so cool. That's very cool. Thank you for telling
Yeah.
me that. So it's essentially it's Green Room, but with, cryptids. So
God,
a
come on.
Wait, what is Green Room? Catch us up, if we don't know what that
so
is.
So, punk band
It
versus neo-Nazis, basically, yeah.
Oh,
yes,
with
yes,
cryptids.
punk band
Is
versus
it,
neo-Nazi.
instead of neo-Nazis, it's crypt?
No. No, it's about a young woman, Smith, short for Smithereen, who she is, forced to go back to her hometown after her father has passed, and she has to take shelter in her estranged uncle's bar during a, quote, unquote, "once in a lifetime" flood, which, nowadays is pretty much just like every year for a lot of
Right,
different areas.
Yeah.
every summer or
Mhm.
spring, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. every summer, especially in Ohio. It's again, this one's in Northeastern Ohio, not Southern Ohio. I'm an Ohio girly, to
There
my
you go.
to my core. But they're attacked by a mysterious thing and chaos ensues.
I'm
I
so excited.
yeah, absolutely. And when does that look to be arriving, or when do you have to have edits in or things like
Yeah.
that?
I mean, I know, like, for us, we've read Morsel, it's not even out yet, but we're
I know.
looking to the next thing already.
So the first draft is actually due at the end of April. Yes. So maybe this next year in around the same time, probably April of next year, I think it'll be out.
I'm sorry if I'm speaking out of turn, Adam, but I feel like in watching your reaction to this and
Mhm.
the way you act when you're like become really interested in an author,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm sensing that from you where you're just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
where am I getting this book? When are
Mhm.
we having it here? When do I get to sit and talk
Yeah,
about it
I
more? When
love
do I
it.
get to reread it?
Mm.
And
Thank you so much.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely.
And not to like, gas you guys up or anything, but I listen to a lot of podcasts and I really, really like yours. It's so calm and casual. And it's just like you said at the beginning, it really is just like listening to people chat. And that's just all I want while I'm sitting at my boring job is just to listen to people have a genuine conversation.
Thank you. I mean, that's so great. I mean, I think for Adam and I, we want to feel like we are among people that we would pick as adults to be like,
Mhm.
these are my people. And there's so many amazing people in the horror community, which is why I feel like we don't want to focus only on authors. And we've brought in like librarians and we have some other like Instagram people coming up and whatnot. Um, but with that being said, I mean, I think a big part of getting to know the author
Mhm.
helps to just feel like you're connecting with the book more and just liking them. And I just wanted it to feel, I don't want to ask the difficult literary questions or, things. I just wanted it to feel like I was having a horror hangout.
Yeah. And I think that
So thank you.
the kind of inspiration is when we would go to, these different events, when we were talking to people both buying books and the authors, it was like you'll buy a book if the book is interesting, and you'll buy the book if the author is interesting when you talk to them. And I think that we really want to show, because not everyone can get to these events all the time. It's like these authors are really cool people. And if they're cool, their books are probably cool. So you should read them.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I literally just listened to your Joe Kaplan one. I have never ever heard of her book and I ordered it immediately.
You know what?
It's incredible.
I promise you, you will not be disappointed. I promise. Like how this better have like a shit ton of buzz about it because it is its own unique fun thing. I'm so
Yeah.
glad that you felt that way, that you're like, this is
And
something I want. And that's the point, right? It's
mhm.
to support
And
people
when
that
you
are
read that,
doing
you're gonna buy Joe's other 2 books because 'cause they're amazing too.
yeah.
Hell
Which I
yeah.
haven't read those yet, okay? But the point is like exposure to, as I said to Brian McCauley, I was like, legal exposure, not exposed with like, we want to expose you, not, legally.
You are now contractually obligated to buy.
Your local bookstore isn't stocking it, or like you said, Adam, like you didn't make it to the fair for the, but yet you're going to be like, this is an amazing book
Yeah.
for me.
And everyone listening to this right now, if you have not already pre-ordered or ordered
Pre-order it.
Morsel, like, get it because you're gonna feel left out, and then you're gonna be that loser in your group that hasn't read it, and you don't wanna be that. Like, come on, we're looking out for you here.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I want it to be that if we say, like, you should read it, that you could be like, "Yeah,
Mhm.
they don't most of the time,
Yeah.
it's a right fit."
Yep.
It's the goal anyway, because we
Mhm.
try to have only people on that we are like,
We've read it, and we've asked them because we like their book. Yeah.
well,
You
I
definitely
was
got
gonna say
me.
mostly,
You
like, we
definitely
don't
got me.
because we read it, we ask them because, like, we really liked it. So
Mhm.
a lot of times, like, you're not gonna hear people on where we're like, "Well," it's like we're pretty jazzed.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. You definitely got me on my the Adam and Rebecca said, I guess I'll buy this book. No worries.
Well,
Some
I can't wait to recommend it to several people because I just feel like there's a whole crew of people out there that Will just enjoy the hell out of this. I
Yes.
really do. And like what are we saying? Maybe like 135
No,
pages?
it's like 200.
200. Okay. I mean, it was like novella, not, it
It's a
was a little
novella,
bit,
yeah.
yeah. Okay. But
It's
it
like
was,
a long novella, short novel, I
Mhm.
don't know,
I'm
whatever they
sorry,
call it.
but I just, that's my favorite, like,
Oh, yeah.
length of a book. It's
Mhm.
just like perfect.
But, yeah, for that page count to have the
That
themes and the
much.
things that
Yeah.
it does, like, you're awesome.
You should be so
Thank
happy.
you.
We're so happy for you. And feel free, please. We really hope you do come back on for the next book. And now I feel like I have to real quick. Should I watch Green Room or should I read the book first and then watch it, or is it going to get me more excited?
It depends on your level of, like, what you're cool with in terms of gore on the screen. It's very gory.
Yeah.
I might have to close my eyes a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll like peek out through one eye.
Mhm.
I'm getting better.
Sir Patrick Stewart's in it, though,
Okay,
so,
but
you
He is,
know,
now
and
that
he's
you
so
had
good.
Too
and
Scary didn't
he's
watch,
so
I'm like,
mean in it.
what is this
He's a
you
horrible
said?
person in it.
I cannot begin to express how much I love it. It is Too Scary, Didn't Watch. They recap horror movies. One of them is Brave. The other 2 hosts are they call Scaredy Cats, and they
That's
do.
me.
Yes, yes, exactly. Exactly for you. They did Green Room, and they do such a good job of it. I listen to it all the time.
I love
Excited.
that.
I'm adding it right now. Thanks for the rec.
I love those comfort listens for podcasts
Yes.
that yeah, so awesome.
I'll add it into my sister wives rotation.
Yes. So
I do listen to, I think you probably have already heard me say the Aldies, but I love
ologies and
love
yes,
Behind the Bastards,
that's
which
a
you
good
might
one,
Yes,
like
yeah.
that
hell
too.
yeah.
Just that is so good of just like, man, there's a lot of terrible people, but that could be great for the
Absolutely.
research aspect of
Mhm.
this.
Might get some
Yes,
inspiration.
exactly.
So where can people find you online? Are you doing any events for Morsel next month when it comes out?
I am what let's see. I will be updating my website. I will be
Okay.
doing that with the calendar. So at the end of this week, at least they'll be able to find where I'm going to be. My website is carterkeene.com. My Instagram is carterxkeene. And those are the 2 main places where I am.
Okay.
Awesome.
Are you coming to Pennsylvania at all?
If you want me to, absolutely.
Well, I'm just saying we're not too far from Ohio. We could try to
That is
drive,
true.
Yeah, so far I've only booked Ohio, but I am looking at other states, so I'll look at it.
That's
Okay.
awesome. That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah,
We'll take a look-see to see at the dates there and what we
that'd
can
be awesome.
pop over to, we are neighboring states after all.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely. Well, it was a pleasure, a complete pleasure. Very excited for you. You deserve all the accolades that are going to come out, and I know they're coming.
Yep.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the invitation. This was fun. It was a great first time for me, honestly.
That's what we want. That's our goal. Thank you.
Awesome. Have a great night.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.